and environmental conferences. Adrian Yeo has also trained under Al Gore on climate crisis and is the official presenter of the Climate Reality Project. Let's give a warm welcome to Adrian Yeo.
Global warming, climate change, nothing new, but the question is why? Why are we not taking up arms and march to the streets and demand our Malaysian government or any government in the world to take action right now? What's stopping you and I in taking action, in moving the step forward in protecting our climate, in protecting our planet? And in my days of looking at the solutions and how to build a movement, I bump into our good friend Bill McKibben. This is the man, he's the founder of 350.org. 350, he is also an environmentalist, an author and journalist. He is quoted by the Time magazine, the world's best green journalist. What 350 and Bill is trying to do is that he's trying to build a global grassroots movement to solve the climate crisis. You know, no one single country or single person can solve this issue on their own. You need a global concerted effort, not just rich countries, not just the countries who is being threatened by these issues of climate change. We have countries, island countries around the world, especially in the Pacific Islands, that are going to be drowned by just a mere sea level rise of just half a meter. Imagine what happened in the tsunami not too long ago. The wave literally swept across Mauritius, and that's how easily one island nation can go disappear when the sea level rise. It's just that simple. So I'm going to show you, before I share with you the 5 simple insights that I got from 350, let me just show you a short video clip which will be played on very, very soon. And I cue the music.
People around the world are using today as a day of action in fighting climate change.
Hundreds of environment campaigners gathered in Edinburgh today.
D'action mondiale contre le réchauffement climatique.
That's 350. This is some of the actions you see was back in 2009. It's a global day of action, introducing the number to the rest of the people. Point number 1, what I share with you is, what's the reaction you get from this little shop kit that you get? You get a little bit of hope. You see young people. You see happy faces. You see people wanting to do something. Number 1 message is that stop repeating the stories of doom and gloom. Stop putting burning forests, stop putting dying polar bears, stop putting pictures like we're going to die tomorrow if we don't do anything else for this climate. We have enough issues in our life. We have to look after our finances, we have to look after security in Malaysia, we have to look after the political situation. We have enough things to bother our mind. Let's put out a more positive, achievable, doable by everyone around the world. That's the first thing that one of the first steps that I saw from 350, which is make it so simple that people have no reasons not to do it. So stop the negative messaging and try to spin it into a more positive, more doable stuff. I just came back from a picnic, pardon my attire. I just came back from meeting a picnic from Rakan KL's and Reclaim Merdeka Park. Instead of telling people, okay, we're gonna lose this building, we're gonna lose that heritage building, let us tell people the beautiful stories, the romantic stories that we're gonna lose, that had been through. The bands that have played their music in the mushroom hut at Bukit Merdeka there. So tell the stories about romance, tell the stories about positive, tell the story about why we should save or do for a certain cause. Point number 2 is to provide a very, very clear target. If you want to move a movement, you want to move a society, you must tell them where the end goal is. And 350 is so clear that it put it the target as their own name title. 350 is 350 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. If we were to have more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, today we are reaching 400 parts per million in the atmosphere. That's why we are having all these severe typhoons, Uto. We are having all these severe hurricanes around the world. We are having floods in Malaysia in places where we have not heard before. Who have thought Kajang a few years ago had flood? Who have thought about in Muar Town we have flooding as well? So floods and droughts and extreme weathers are happening in places which we have not seen before, but we are seeing more and more happening around. The third point that I want to share would be amazing. Be super amazing. In 2009, this is a global day of action. 350 was started by Bill McKibben. He only at the time was helped by 7 college kids. Not graduate yet at the time. But at 2009, they have managed to get 5,200 simultaneous demonstrations in 181 countries all around the world, starting from New Zealand in the first dawn of break until across the world, the other end of Hawaii. So this is how amazing when you put your messaging so clear, when you try to inspire, put in the positive that hey, every one of us can take an action, and it's not that difficult anyway. So 2009, they were amazing. The next year, they top it up. Okay, this is we did something in KLCC. In the next year, in 2010, they made human formations that is visible from space. They want to target not just the cameras in tall buildings. They want to target cameras in satellites hovering, the hundreds of satellites hovering our planet. So this is one of them, featuring the how does the increasing seawater level affects animals, peoples, plants, biodiversities, all alike. And be amazing when you do crazy, out of the world, unthink of things like this, you attract more people into the movement. In Malaysia, a couple of years ago, 2010, for Urbanscapes, I know some of you were there, Project Rumah Angkat. All right, Liu Sing Tat is a curator at the time. He literally built a house, placed it in Sentul, get a bunch of people, carry it into KLPAC. What's the purpose? Well, of course, it's the art installation, but the whole idea of the whole process, it gathered people, young people, old people, not so young, not so old people, in between peoples, all types of all range of people come out, carry the house, Then we asked him, hey, what's your inspiration in that project? Oh, I saw it's only a Melayu thing, in Fumakula, the advertisement, that strongman hit, only the Melayu carry the house. But no, what he proved that it's not so difficult to get all people, all fabric of cultural society to come in, to join in the project and achieve a single goal, which is do something together. It's not that difficult. The fourth point, this is a shout out to Justin Bieber fans. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. The fourth point is we must reach to the unconverted. It's very simple to talk to people who understand our issues. It's very simple to talk to those who are already converted. It's very simple to get the people around you who go to play to the programs or to do things that you do, and your friends around you. But it's so difficult. It's actually not that difficult. But we find it so hard to talk to a stranger or somebody who do not agree with you and try to tell them your ideas. Don't be that. What Bill McKibben and his team in 350 does is they publish an article in August version 2012 in Rolling Stones. The moment they published the article, the whole magazine online, that evening, the editor of Rolling Stones called the office, said, hey, what did you guys write in the article? Even though I feature Justin Bieber as the cover page, your viewership is like 10 times more than him. So until and unless that we try to reach out to those who are not your common group of audience, your common people who usually listens to you, stop going to all the NGO talks and preach to the same people. Go beyond that. Go and touch This is BonCon. Go and touch. Some laughing. Go and touch other people who is not in your NGO industry, who is not talking the same language, who do not believe in the same thing. Then you may have a chance to build a movement. Then you may have a chance to make the world a better place. Talking about constitution. Any one of you have read the constitution, a Malaysian constitution? Not many. Yeah, there's some hands, but very shy hands. Must be a lawyer. But what Malaysian Bar did in the Constitution Committee, they come up with My Perlembagan Ku, or English, My Consti. It's putting the Constitution of Malaysia so simple enough, so colorful enough, and produce simple booklets and do road shows around the country. Who would have thought people would actually sit down in the hall for 2 hours and listen to constitutions? But they did it. So it's that mindset that say, hey, nobody can listen to me but cannot but you must try, you must do that. The fifth point I would like to share is that points number 1 and 4, stop the gloom and gloom, provide clear message, be amazing, reach out to the converted. But the final step is you must be able to replicate it. You must be able to guide your volunteers, your movers, your people who wanted to do the same thing as you do. You must give them clear instructions and how to do it. In 350's website, you have everything under the sun that you can think of. You want to organize a fundraising, you want to organize a dinner, you want to organize a movie screening, you want to write a press release, to even how do you want to draw your own logo or alter the logo into become a localized logo. It's all there. So in any movement that you build, in any movement, if you cannot explain it or if you cannot teach a 5-year-old what you are fighting for, then you already failed. You must make that message, make it so duplicable, make it so replicable, make it so easy for people to do it, and then probably you must have you have a chance. What 350 does is that not too long ago, just a couple of months ago, they gathered 500 young people from all around the world and gather them in Istanbul, where the point where the Asia meets the Europe, that's the point where the central point they think that, hey, this is the best place to do it. Let's gather all of them, show them that, hey, we are part of the planet and we must do things. And what they do in Global Power Shift is that they go through the point 1 and point 5, teach people how to replicate what they've been doing in campaigns in US, in Europe, and also some of other parts of the world. Teach them, hold their hands, guide them one by one, so that hopefully that eventually when they go back to the home country, they will have their own national power shift. Well, for Malaysia, we will be organizing a Malaysia Power Shift very soon. So go on to the 350 website or Facebook to find out more. The final point is that we are all human beings. Yes, we want to save the world, we want to save the animal, we want to save the human rights, we want to save gender equality, we want to give vaccinations to everyone. But the people, the agents, you and I sitting in this room, we are all human beings. We treat everyone equal. How you want to push your volunteers to go out and do, that's how you're going to treat everyone equal. So do not over push your people, do not give them harsh words. Yes, this is the NGO world and this is the movement building is not an easy world. But hey, at the end of the day, what we're trying to change is something which is going to affect people. It's human being feelings that we're talking about. So guide them, bring their hands, go all across the journey, and do not leave people all alone. So I think I'm gonna end the slides. So I'm just gonna end. This is a message for young people, which I got from Mr. Kumi Naidu. Kumi Naidu is the executive director for Greenpeace. He told us at the Global Power Shift is that resist the temptation to be the leaders of tomorrow. Do not fall into the trap that you are the leaders of tomorrow. Seize the opportunity to be the leader of today. If the leaders of today are not producing, you guys should step it up and take the leadership out of their hands. Thank you so much.
Dr. Leon Ochiai has more than 10 years of field experience in research of vaccine-preventable diseases. He has written more than 50 scientific articles and presented locally and internationally on epidemiology of typhoid fever. Please welcome Leon.
I was just introduced as an epidemiologist, and I wonder how many of you in this room actually know what epidemiologist is and what epidemiology is. So let me just start from that. I come and I introduce myself being a scientist. I'm an epidemiologist. People say, oh, that's about the skin. No, that's dermatologist, okay? Epidemiologists are the people who study epidemics. Epidemics are like outbreaks, infectious diseases. For example, there's an outbreak of food poisoning. People like us would go there, try to investigate what causes the outbreak, what caused the outbreak, why people are getting sick, how we can actually prevent it. So for us epidemiologists, we're not just wearing a lab coat and working in the lab doing science, but we are the scientists actually in the field. Actually, we get to see what's happening and how we can actually prevent the disease to spread. So for us, vaccines are a big tool because vaccines actually prevent people from getting sick. So here, why vaccine? Why am I getting involved in vaccine? Because vaccine is just amazing. It actually saves a lot of lives. This is some statistic that they show. We don't really know because vaccine is not like medicine. It's for prevention, not for cure. So we don't know actually how many people would have become sick because we're actually preventing them from becoming sick. So with the vaccine, we say that every year, 2 million lives are being saved. 2 million. Well, maybe we're contributing to increase in the population, but at least we're giving a healthy life to people. Oops. So one disease was actually eradicated in 1977. Eradicated means the disease is completely wiped off from the surface of this planet. This disease has disappeared because of vaccine. That's smallpox. This is a very deadly disease. If you're probably age 40 or 45 and older, you have received the vaccine against smallpox. This was a global effort to control the disease, global effort to contain the disease, and eventually global effort to actually get rid of the disease. So we do not have this disease anymore. Now, what we know about the vaccines, we consider it the most cost-effective preventive tool after the safe water. Safe water is the most important things that we could have. But after that, we know that vaccine is considered the second most cost-effective tool. Now, there's another disease that we're working very hard to get rid of. It's called polio. Malaysia have not seen polio for many years, so you do not know. You may not have known, but you must have heard of polio because polio is still around in the world, and we're trying to get rid of it. So it was a disease that was affecting a lot of people, but gradually with the vaccines, we managed to start to control this disease. So certain areas, region by region, polio had been eradicated. And then in 1988, WHO, UNICEF, and Rotary International held hands together to act against a global control and global eradication efforts for polio. Initially, they thought by year 2000 we can get rid of it. No, disease was smarter. By 2005, they came up with that, but then again. So there's no goal yet, but we are very close. In 2010, there are 4 countries, Nigeria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. Even India now has not seen polio since then. So 3 years is required to call themselves polio-free. With the mapping technique, we can actually know where exactly these cases are coming from. So here, Nigeria in Africa, and then neighboring countries that are basically exported from Nigeria. Pakistan-Afghanistan border, they're still seeing polio cases. Polio is a disease that can actually spread very quickly. That can be exported as well. So the countries that have not seen polio for many years, the problem is that people get relaxed. Oh, we have not seen polio. So the vaccination coverage goes low, and then people are not protected. So, for example, this year, between Somalia and Kenya border, there had been an outbreak of polio. In Israel, very recently, there had been an outbreak of polio, but those were not indigenous polio. They know that they had been imported from these countries. So the effort continues. We're trying to make sure that we can actually control the disease. So, as I said, from the time that vaccine was developed 400 years ago, we have been fortunate to come up with many different types of vaccines, and many childhood diseases are being controlled. What we call basic EPI vaccine, Expanded Program on Immunization. This has 6 antigen, or it works against 6 diseases. In 1980s, the global coverage of these vaccines were only about 20%, but thanks to the efforts of health workers, the coverage has reached all the way to 80% at the moment. 80% coverage is good, but not yet 100%. What are we doing to reach that 20% more? There are challenges. What challenges? For example, there are logistical challenges. There are challenges in terms of access to the vaccine. Vaccines are not just there in your neighborhood clinic. Okay? Vaccines actually get delivered from somewhere else. For a country to introduce a vaccine, they have to plan. Okay? They have to probably consult with Ministry of Finance. Do we have money to actually come up with such a program and so on? And then eventually that order gets the manufacturer, and manufacturer will have to send it to probably the central warehouse. That goes to the regional district, and then finally to the person who needs the vaccine. During this process, especially after the vaccine is produced, for example, what's important is cold chain. You have to maintain the vaccine between 2 to 8 degrees. So there are logistical challenges in making sure that the vaccines are kept in the most optimal condition. You don't want to give any vaccine that is inferior, and you want to make sure that the people do get vaccines. So there are continuing challenges in terms of access. I go to Pakistan for work a lot. I like Pakistan a lot. It's a dangerous country maybe, but people are warm. Food is great. Their barbecue is probably the best. But apart from that, people are still suffering from infectious diseases. People do want to give vaccines. We work hard to deliver vaccines. But unfortunately, there are people who believe vaccines are used for population control, for infertility, and so on, that it is not seen positively. And those people who have misconception about the vaccines are doing such bad thing. Okay? Now, here, this was a polio worker. Okay? It was not just once. It happened again, and again. And not just the people who are delivering the vaccine, but also to the people who are escorting them. The policemen also got shot just because they were escorting the polio workers. All these polio workers are being paid very little. They are volunteers. They're working hard to make sure that the children are protected from polio. They do not want to see any child having disability for life. But that misconception, unfortunately, is pushing some radicals to act against them and then hampering the efforts in controlling polio. But what are Pakistanis doing? What is happening in Pakistan? They stood up, each one of them, okay? They did not shun, okay? They stood up. They demonstrated. They said that there has to be a way to protect these workers. There has to be a way to deliver the vaccines, okay? They still do deliver the vaccine. Policemen, although they were shot, they still do their jobs. Okay? They want to make sure that the vaccine gets to the children because they do not want to see any disabled child in their community in the future. Okay? So to deliver a vaccine or to have a community protected from infectious diseases, what's important is not just working in the lab and making the vaccine. It's actually delivering the right vaccine to the right people and to the right channel. That's something that's very important. There are many vaccines still out there. Only the green part is the vaccines that are available and being used. This was the EPI vaccines we talked about. There are many other vaccines that are considered underutilized, available, but not being used. Okay? And then there are some future vaccines. These are the vaccines that are going through a rigorous testing, rigorous experiments, and very legitimate clinical trials, and it actually comes to the people. It's unfortunate that some misconception of some groups, whatever the intention is making that these are not worth it, or these are dangerous, or these are not for me, for you, and that actually affects. And that actually falling into violence is a very, very sad thing. So taking this opportunity here, talking to all of you, the main message for me, although I'm coming from a research side, it's not just the vaccines. Okay, vaccines do not save lives. It's actually the vaccination that saves lives. And for us scientists, we work to make sure that the vaccine becomes available, but it is each one of us, it's each one of us knowing what vaccines can do, and then what vaccines are for, and then how that action of vaccination, that is the one that is saving lives. So thank you very much. And I will finish by showing these smiley faces. These are all the children, very few of all many children that I have been in the field vaccinated, gave them the vaccine, and then I hope they're smiling still and they're happy still in various countries in Asia and Africa. Thank you very much.